Hello, Future Bestsellers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have Lady Davis with me here today. I am Lisa Daly, as always. Robert Jones is dealing with a family matter today, and Michelle is a little under the weather. So we had planned to have Lainey on in the middle of her Kickstarter campaign, and then doctor, sick doctor, that kind of stuff. And so here we are at the end of the campaign. But welcome, Lainey. I'm so excited to have you on the live stream today.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm glad to be here. And, feel free to ask any questions about running a Kickstarter campaign. This was my 9th one, maybe.
I know you have a ton. When I went to go look to pull this one up so everybody can look at it, I was like, oh my God, like you have an entire page of Kickstarters. You have gone way beyond Love and Lust in Large Print, which is the group Kickstarter that we did together. So before we get started, let's do some introductions. Lainey, tell us a little about you and your awesome self.
Yeah, so I'm Lainey Davis, and I write contemporary romance, steamy, and I live in Pittsburgh, and I love setting my books here in Pittsburgh. I think it is too complicated to make up the people and the place. And I am a wide author, so that means my books are everywhere, and I love answering questions about that. And I actually earn more money on audiobooks than I do in my print and ebook. So I also love talking about that.
Well, we are going to talk about all that stuff today. You are just a wealth of knowledge. That is absolutely fantastic. I love the Pittsburgh setting. I do want to know. So you and I both write hockey romance. Your stuff's set in Pittsburgh. I am a longtime Pittsburgh Penguins fan. That's our team in this house. We cheer for the Pens. And so you had invited me, and unfortunately I couldn't do it because I was supposed to have an MRI. You had invited me to a hockey romance tonight at it's like the farm team for the Penguins. So do tell, how did that? I couldn't go. I was so sad. Tell me how it went.
It was a delight. So for those who don't know, there is a hockey romance series called Game Changers, written by Rachel Reed, which
was very popular.
Yes, the second book in that series is called Heated Rivalry, and it is a queer romance. One of the heroes is bisexual and one is gay, and they are rival hockey players, and they are in love. And it
was wildly popular over the summer.
It has just swept the world by storm. And so a lot of smaller hockey teams are bringing in hockey romance authors for theme nights. And let me just tell you, it was delightful. People brought their entire book clubs. People were hanging out down on the ice. Everybody was having so much fun. And they do dollar draft nights on Fridays. It was a Friday night at the Wheeling Nailers when they played the Nailers.
And the Wheeling Nailers, what a perfect team for a hockey romance. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
It was Nailers versus Railers, and they did not find that amusing, but I did. I did.
I love this.
Totally, and I just loved it. I didn't get to watch any of the game hardly. Like, I wasn't there for that. I was in the hallway. I was selling books. I was meeting fans, and people just loved it. Everybody loves the Nailers. It is a really fun time at these. It's a ECHL. So it was delight. Would do again in a heartbeat.
Well, hopefully I'll be there with you next year. So
I hope so too.
Well, let's say hi to our friends in the chat. As you guys know, Lainey is usually in the chat with us. Hey, Mary. Mary's here. Hello. Super glad to see you today. Daisy's here. Hello,
Oh,
Daisy.
Daisy.
Very nice to see you. Free range female is here.
Yeah.
Hello. Very nice. Everybody's excited about that. I know, right? 9 Kickstarters. Crazy. Hey, Danielle. Super glad to see you. And Lisa McLeod is here. Hello. I'm very sorry, you guys, that I didn't make it the last 2 weeks. I think I mentioned before, I'm having some kind of serious health stuff, and sometimes I just can't do it. So we're just going to keep rolling. I will be here whenever I can, and soon I will get better, and we'll be able to be here every week. But it's just sucky, and we're just going to go forward with that. All right, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up sprint, and then we come back. I want to talk all about your Kickstarter, how you did, how you like what you've learned after 9 Kickstarters, all of that, because this has been a really fantastic way for you to get some books out into the world. Oh my God, Mary has a story. I used to play hockey on rollerblades. Right? Okay. We're going to get another one finished first before you started your project. That's the rule. All right. I love this. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and do our first 5-minute warm-up sprint. Let me get our hold on. I just lost my screen. I hate when my Mac does that. Wait, hold on. Oh, I have to get rid of the other one first. Hold on. We thought we were all being smart by pre-prepping the screen, but apparently you cannot do that with more than one screen. Okay. That's okay. Live and learn. All right, everybody. We are going to get started with our very first 5-minute warm-up sprint. 5 minutes on the clock, starting in 2, 1. All right, we are back. I know I'm a dork. Can I say how funny it is that I like still love that song after like 5 years?
I like it too.
Thank you. It's kind of dorky, but I kind of love it. So, Mary, thank you so much. That is so sweet of you. There you go. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I did my intro. I think I forgot. Hi, everybody. If you don't already know me, which I can see by the chat that everybody does, but if you don't already know me, I'm Lisa Daly. I'm a hybrid author, traditionally and indie published, although primarily indie now, just because I like the money. But on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. I am super excited to talk about your Kickstarter, Lainey. So we are going to get back to that. Let's do it. First of all, though, let us know, you guys in the chat, what do you be working on today? I can't speak. What are you going to be working on, Lainey?
Oh, I am doing some edits.
Right, fantastic. I am going to be troubleshooting a client's manuscript. She is writing a love story, and she said that she's I'm trying to figure out why the sparks aren't where we want them to be. So I'll be doing a little troubleshooting today, which is sometimes really fun. Like I do, like for nonfiction, I feel like super, super confident in that. With fiction, there are so many moving parts that, you know what I mean? And that so many different people can have such different takes, which I guess is true for nonfiction too, but not the same way in any case. So I'm excited about it, but it's also a little challenging. So, okay. So let's get your Kickstarter up. I'm very excited to talk about this. Dun, dun, dun. I also love this too. Planted and plowed. Look how cute those little covers are. I love that. Okay. Also, let's talk about your shiny ink on your cover. That looks like it's gold.
This is gold foil. So I did this POD, which means print on demand. I did not arrange for a print run,
a short run print
from Asia. I'm just hesitant to do that right now. I don't want to wait 6 months for my books to sit on a boat. I don't want to worry if my books are going to fall into the ocean on the boat.
Right. That's a common problem. Books falling into the ocean. But what happens if they're on their way and you order them and the tariffs are one thing and they get here and the tariffs are something completely different?
Yeah. So my cost per book is pretty high and my profit per book is not as high as a lot of the really big authors that you see doing these fancy books.
Yeah.
They are ordering the fancy books from a factory in China and they're making a lot of profit because they're ordering so many hundreds that the per book cost is much
way
lower.
down.
So this is from Book Vault and it's beautiful. It has these patterned edges and I also did what are these called? End papers, and this is called the fly paper. You have to learn all these terms.
Hold on, I'm going to remove this so we can get a better. I'm going to put you on yourself. Yeah. Okay, tell us a little about that. So we got the beautiful gold foiling. We've got. Go ahead. You've got
and then the edges are done. It's called spray, but Book Vault smacks them on there. I don't know.
That's so beautiful.
And then these are the patterned custom end papers. And then most of the book is Book Vault can print however many color pages you want. So there's like 140 color pages with these like little chapter headers. And I didn't do any of this. The book designer is Carrie March, and she does Lucy Score's books. And I I couldn't believe that I was able to get her. I was like, oh my God, I have Carrie March designing my book. But I told her I wanted it's a raunchy book. And I told her I wanted slutty flowers. And this was like, she just
I didn't even notice the slutty flowers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh my God.
Yeah. So this this series is rom-com. This is 4 complete books in one cover, and I kind of was writing these in between my angstier sports romance for the past couple of years. I just wanted something raunchy and ridiculous, and I like doing Kickstarters for a fancy, pretty hardback book. I like to order, for me, 150 books will take me a year to sell at special events. And of these hardbacks. And so I use the Kickstarter campaign to help organize how I'm going to talk about my special edition and to offset the cost of printing that quantity of books.
So that is very smart. So you're using the Kickstarter. So you're pre-selling the books on your Kickstarter. Here, let's go ahead and look at this actually. So you're pre-selling the books on your Kickstarter, and that enables you to order enough copies where you can sell them throughout the year at all of the various events that you go to.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of different ways to do Kickstarter. Some people truly are using it to fund.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I got to the part where it says, "Who needs to be plowed?"
Yeah, so
continue.
I really feel like 9 Kickstarters in that I found my groove, and this book is ridiculous, and I was just leaning in. I had one person comment on social media like, "Is this book clean and wholesome? Because I wasn't sure you used the word plowed." And I was like, people get plowed in their furrows. And yeah, I leaned all the way in. The books are weird. I am weird. I was just really enjoying that with everything about this Kickstarter, and people were really responding in a way I thought was fun. And so some things I did different this one. If you look me up on Kickstarter, you can see all my past campaigns. This one funded higher than any of my previous, about 9,000 at the end. That doesn't mean that's 9,000 in profit. It means that I have 9,000 minus the Kickstarter fees that will go toward the postage, the ordering of the books, ordering the box to ship them in, the bubble wrap, printing the labels,
and the books.
And then another thing that I love about Kickstarter is while you're in there, you might as well do something really fun. And so I always try to think, what would be a fun, box? If I, a reader who loves a box of goodies, could get something, what would it be? And so this time I found a company where you can design your own box.
What?
So I have the slutty flowers all over my box. And
I want that as wallpaper. That is beautiful.
Yeah. And I designed the inside. And so there's going to be a box tier, and there is a local yarn dyer in Pittsburgh her name is Cheryl, and she made custom yarn to go with the book. It's called Winterberry. So we've got the beautiful book, we've got the beautiful yarn, and then there is a soap maker in Pittsburgh. All of the characters in these books are young ladies whose last name is Storm, and they all have weird agricultural related jobs. One is a beekeeper. So Casey's doing like a beeswax hand salve.
Oh, I love that.
One of the sisters grows hops. So Casey made me a soap with beer in the soap. I actually haven't looked at this yet. Let's see, what do we have in here? Oh, this is the hand salve.
Nice.
And then another one, Tens Goats. I didn't do a second goat milk soap. The other 2 products are a lip balm, and one of them owns a maple farm. So there's a maple lip scrub. So all that comes in the beautiful custom box.
That is so fun. Years and years ago, I had my very first book, actually, Stop Getting Dumped, which is a dating advice book, talked about how there was this study that showed that men are attracted to the scents of cinnamon and vanilla. And I had a friend who owned this like store where she made homemade soaps and all this stuff. And she made a parfum glacé, like a solid perfume, like your grandma wore,
Ooh,
that was like a cinnamon and vanilla, which we called man magnet.
man magnet.
Man magnet. I know. And you just gave me like all the it was so much fun. And you just gave me all the feels with that. I love it. I have to get the name of your box manufacturer because those are stunning.
Yeah, this is
But
the company's called.
I love how you went all in on this.
Yeah, it's called Box Up. And so, it's not cheap, but I incorporated the cost of all of it into the tier. So I ended up selling 7 of the fancy boxes.
Nice.
And the minimum box quantity is 12. So I have 5 additional cardboard boxes at home, and we'll see what I come up with to do with those at in-person events. But I love coming up with these ideas and stuff. And so Kickstarter gives you a way to just really put together a nice limited edition fun thing.
I absolutely love it. I love it. Everybody loves it. Yeah, right. That is a beautiful print. I would totally do that. A fun yarn with your yarn. Mary, you are always so good.
I'm writing that slogan down.
Right. Mary is like the queen of wordplay. All right, you guys, let's go ahead. I want to come back and talk about profitability, and without going into super specific details, I want you to sort of talk about like lessons that you've learned. Mary said, we'll be rating my pantry for man attracting scents. You don't even have to do that. Just pop some of those ready to bake cinnamon rolls in the oven. And I do have a man magnet cake. I will tell you this before we go to our break, or before we go to our sprint. So my Aunt Anne, great Aunt Anne, who was like 4 feet tall and wore 6-inch stilettos every day of her life. She was the mayor's wife for 1,000 years. And she would always tell me, the old sort of the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And after my Uncle Jack passed away, she was a widow, and she had like the, men are scarce when you're in your 80s just because they die first. But she had like a line of gentlemen callers around the block, and she would always tell me it's because she knew how to cook for a man. And one of her favorite cakes to make was this cake called the Sakatumi cake, which was the sour cream pound cake, very heavy on the cinnamon and vanilla. And so we rebranded it as the man magnet cake. And I've made that cake on TV talk shows for years. I'll have to see if I can find a clip at some point. Anyway, yeah, so that I love that. Oh my God. They had that you had delivered to this. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. This is the great thing about having a best friend that you've known for 100 years. Oh my God. Yeah. That was like my first national interview, you guys. If you remember Sally Jesse Raphael with the giant glasses, my youngins in the audience will not know, but the rest of you, that woman, as much as she sort of delved into the ridiculous by the end of her career, was an extraordinarily gifted interviewer. And I did not really realize that until I had done several hundred interviews. She locked onto you, and it was like you were the only 2 people in the universe. And yeah, she was actually really good. And that one interview with her sold a crap ton of books. But yeah, me and Sally Jesse back in the day. I need to call the Pound Me Cake. Woo, this group. Okay, I love that. You guys, we are going to hold on. We need to do that. This deserves, as you know. Pound me cake. I love that. That is phenomenal. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and do our very first sprint. Let me get that rolling here. Oh, my laptop's doing crazy nutball things today. Oh, hold on. I got to get rid of this again. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. 20-minute timer. Let's get rolling. All right, girls and boys, let's go ahead and do our very first 20-minute sprint. I'm sure you've already got your documents open. Get your little fingers all stretched out, and let's get some work done. One. Let's do it.
We did it.
Okay, this is so weird. Like my screen got like frozen and it would not let me come back over. And I'm like,
Oh.
So sorry about that, guys. Let us know in the chat how what you're working on today if you have not already. While I turn this back. This. All right, fantastic. So you were working on some edits today. I'm doing some client work. Mary is going to be doing some work on Seniors Gone Wild, woohoo, and some jokes for her comedy show on Tuesday. I love that Mary is doing a comedy show. I think that's fantastic. I feel like she's off to an excellent start for her new full-time writer life. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Heather, very nice to see you. She's doing a little bit of promo today. Very nice. Sorry, I'm going back. I feel like I did not go back. Everybody is completely blown away by your books, though. As am I. Those are just incredible. Lisa is working on rewriting a phrase, flip the bird. Working on rewriting a phrase, flip the bird from my TV pilot stage, trying to describe a woman aggressively giving the bird to a man who lied to her about being married.
So you don't want to say I flipped him the bird. You want a different way to
say that.
Mm-hmm. Give him the middle finger salute.
Right. It's too bad. Avi's not here today because she would like drop like 50 of those right now. She is the queen. Let's see. Lisa says working on a scene for the TV pilot where the woman jams a guy in the chest with the bird he cheated. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I need to describe someone watching it on video. All right. Everybody percolate on that for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about your Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So the question I think everybody's going to want to know is, have you made money doing these Kickstarters? Like, is this my guess is since you've done multiples that you are probably doing great with them.
I usually go into them with like side goals that maybe aren't apparent. Mm-hmm. So the one I did on my Brady family series, I had come up with a flip-flop, a Ted Bish edition where two of the books would be in one and you could read one and flip it over. So, but that one, my real secret goal was to fund the audio production of this series. And I did that on 2 different series. And so I did not walk away with enough profit on each to fund the audio series, but the money that I earned from it went toward that. And for me, I really view like the primary benefit is in honing down that marketing copy on this story page that Lisa's scrolling through. Right. I'm going to now use this copy everywhere I advertise this book. So my goal for this one, this is my only series that is not an audio. So I would have loved to earn enough to fund audio production for it. I didn't, but that's okay because I love that I have this amazing book. I will walk away with a bigger profit this time than I have before, but that comes with having more backers. So I'm over 100 backers, which, and again, in the scheme of Kickstarter, there's people on there who drew 7 figures, high 6 figures. You know, that's not me. I'm a solidly mid-list person. So for me, a $9,000 Kickstarter on a complete series that was already done, a special edition, like that's gravy.
It is, right? So what you just mentioned was these are books you already have. They're already done. And what you did was repackage them in an admittedly gorgeous package and add some extra doodahs. And then now you have earned enough money to go towards funding the audiobooks, which will earn you more money and gain you some more fans on Kickstarter, which will make your next Kickstarter even better because people will like come to know you. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. Also, the people who see these editions are going to want to know like what's coming next from you. I think this is so beautiful. I'm so jealous, and I'm thinking like,
Yeah, I do love
right?
it. It just
Yeah.
makes me
I mean,
happy
I say that like I
Yeah.
really totally would. I would absolutely put that wallpaper in a powder room. I love it.
Mm.
I love how like just stunning these are. And I assume that you're going to sell it after the fact on your store or just in person?
So I will definitely put the ebook up on swoonysteamystories.com. That's my store. And then I don't know yet if I am gonna. I don't know what my plans are for how many of this hardback I'm gonna order, because I don't need to tell anybody that the world is expensive right now. Like,
Yeah.
we're in a real crunch for everything. But because it's print on demand, if I decide 6 months from now to print out 30 of them and take them to an in-person event, I can do that. I did also make a mass market sized paperback.
Mhm.
Um, and that one has what's called forced edges. So I printed every single one of the pages in color, and I used a service called Printed Edges combined with vellum, so that the next time we stop, I'll go and I'll grab the paper
Okay.
back to show that off. But that one I can print through Ingram Spark. And so I will probably just kind of always have that one up for sale on my website, because it's easy enough for me to order a case of those.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that you're making that. If you print it through Ingram, that means that you can obviously distribute it to bookstores all over. So what are you charging at events for this special 4-book edition that is so stunning and beautiful? Because one of my other clients, who I think you know, Kel Carpenter,
Oh,
she
yeah.
makes like more than half of her income on these kinds of special editions. Like, she does, this is like a big part of her business plan. And she typically will sell, like a really fancy edition for like $50 or $60. What is this
Um,
going?
I mean, I really can't go below 70 for this,
Okay.
because
You
of
got 4 stories. It's,
it's
yeah,
4 books in one, and it is gorgeous, if I may say, and has a
it
lot of
is
really
absolutely gorgeous.
features. And I mean, it is just very expensive to print and obtain a copy of it. And that's just what it costs.
And that's just what it costs. Well, I love it. And that's what I say, like her editions, and I think she does a lot of editions that are single books, but super, super fancy. And so she'll have like a collection of really fancy books. But her special editions are really like, that is a big, big part of her income. And I could like, this is exactly the kind of thing I would absolutely nerd out on. Like, I really would. I've been thinking about doing a special edition for Mike's book, because
Hmm.
I think his audience would really dig it. They've been asking for a hardcover. So I've been thinking about doing that for him, but also just for myself, like all of the I just I would love to. I would
Yeah.
absolutely love to. All my books are set in Sarasota. I would love
Yeah.
to do like a little Sarasota series. I
I
think
mean,
that
the
would
way
be.
you did those postcards at that
Oh,
one event, like, you already have a lot of these ideas. You're great with your branding and your colors.
thank you.
Yeah, I I think anything. So, and I will share that another thing that really made the difference here is that I hired somebody to do my graphics. Her name is Joe, and her business is Sandpiper Ink. So if you scroll through the campaign, all those pictures of the books, all of the tier names, the Who's Ready to Be Plowed, all of that, like the visual part of that, Joe did that for me. And she does a package where I think it was $200, and she did all the graphics for my whole campaign. And that included the mock-ups of the book. So, I have the physical book here. This was my proof copy. But it doesn't taking a photo of the book doesn't make, I think, can you scroll down a little bit in the campaign, Lisa, to one of the, and so
Like,
I could, like, Jo did
see.
these graphics, she did this trope graphic, all of this stuff, and she did these mock-ups, of so that backers would have an idea what the product looks like, and I can do that stuff, but the amount of hours that it would have taken me.
It's funny because I think, like, as far as the regular 3D image, obviously you can do that on BookBrush, and I recognize the angles of both of these, so I think that's probably how. Although maybe not, because you've got this, right? So she's going to have to do. Did she actually take photographs? Because I just said that, and then I realized, wait, that wouldn't cover the printed edges.
Yeah, Jo used her magic witch powers to
on Photoshop or whatever. It is beautiful. It's really beautiful. This
No,
is cool.
that's a real photo of my human hand holding the paperback. So that's what it looks like when you do a forced edge. So the PDF, the file of your paperback file, has those little barcode hashtags all throughout. And somehow when that is put together, it makes a beautiful edge image. But I also like how it looks on the inside. I believe it creates an immersive experience for you while you're reading the book.
It does. It absolutely does. It's absolutely beautiful. Love, love, love that. All right. That is super cool. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go to another sprint. I am loving this so, so, so much. When we come back, I want to talk about Kickstarter lessons learned.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do our next writing sprint. We got 20 minutes up on the clock here. Dun, dun, dun. All right, everybody, we're going to get started on our next sprint in 3. All right. We made it this time, so that's good. How'd everybody do on that last sprint? Let us know in the chat how you're coming along with your writing today while I reset the clock. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how'd you do?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm barreling along here in some revisions. Looks like Free Range Female said in the comments she's not feeling well, but considering a Kickstarter later. And I definitely think people should give it a whirl. It's a really fun way to, excuse me, to try things beyond just the book. I feel like it activates a different part of my brain.
I can totally see that. So I've done one Kickstarter. It was with you. It was a group project. It wasn't our most successful Kickstarter. However, for me, I felt like it was very successful because it was really fun. I got to do a group project with a bunch of the Ram Rom-Com ladies, which was awesome. And like in hindsight, I go, well, okay, maybe mixing large print, which is like for older people, with Kickstarter, which probably skews a little younger than our audience, was maybe not the best fit, but I loved the experience of it. And I totally would do another Kickstarter. I have not had the juice to do one, but you used the book of one of our friends, to do your first one. And have you used any other books besides Russell's?
Yeah, so Lisa is referencing Get Your Book Selling on Kickstarter, which is by Russell Nolte and Monica Leonel. And I think that is an excellent resource. And Anthea Sharp has another book called, oh my God, is it called How to Kickstart Your Book? I should know.
I think it is called How to Kickstart Your Book.
And Anthea, Anthea knows a ton, and she actually like works with Kickstarter on their community engagement team. And I think Anthea's book is also like really excellent, and she just updated it for 2026 or maybe late 2025, but so really current, and things change really quickly over on Kickstarter. So I would definitely say that anybody who's considering it should check out Anthea Sharp's book about it, because she has, I definitely like go through the book, and even though I've done it 9 times, I still use it as a reference when I'm putting together a campaign.
There are some resources that are like that, where you just go back to them over and over again. Yeah, I totally get that. Totally get that. I love this. Free Range Female says, haven't decided yet how I'll publish my debut, but considering Kickstarter. Lainey, this is gorgeous. I love all your ideas. It's so beautiful. We're gonna have to talk about how I can get a copy of that book. I know, a little post Kickstarter link. So,
love. And one thing I will say that I think both books have in common, both Russell's book and Anthea's, is the importance of figuring out your budget before you get started. I did outlay expenses before I ran the campaign, beyond just having my editor, right? Like I said, this time I paid somebody to do my graphics. If I were a debut author, I might not outlay money in that way. But
they are beautiful, but also that's something you could do on Canva.
Yes. Yeah. And I have reached a point in my career where I don't necessarily, I can throw money at a problem where before I would dedicate the time toward it.
Right. And that's it. At some point, it's worthwhile to spend the money to solve the problem. It's worth more to spend the money to solve the problem than it is to spend the time. Lisa McLeod, who is a business advisor to and has been for C-suite executives for a really long time now, always talked to me when we were kind of first starting out as authors about how when a dude starts a business, he will hire people to help and get all the things that he needs, whereas women will try to do every single thing ourselves. And And I always think about that because that is because I can do a lot of things. That is my natural inclination, but you shouldn't always do that. Like, I like to learn how to do new things, and sometimes it's faster and easier and cheaper for me to just do it. But you can't do everything and write the books and this and that all the time. So at some point, you got to figure out the trade-off.
Well, and so along those lines, like, you need to, when you're going to do a Kickstarter, you need to do a budget where you think of a way that each tier is going to turn you a profit, whether you have one person back that tier or if you have 74 people back that tier. And what I mean by that is, like, these boxes, I said they come in quantities of 12. I need to price it so that if the 13th person were to back it and I would have to order 2 loads, you know, that I'm not up a creek over the cost of that.
Right.
And sometimes I think for a lot of us who are indies, we think of pricing like nobody's going to ever pay that. And the truth is that the people who are on Kickstarter are there very intentionally. They don't want to be on Amazon. They want to support creators. And so they're willing and ready to pay more per item than your average, like, binge reader in Kindle Unlimited.
I think that is so true. I think in particular, like, with all of the little fancy details and the box and all of that stuff, there is a certain group of readers or the population that is extremely, I am one of those people that is very, very appealing for me. I really like the special editions, or I really love that stuff. And the Horror Geek has a whole room full of numbered, like limited edition books and things like that. That's just, we like the special thing. And so yeah, so that's really real. And for some people, they go like, oh, for the cost of that, I could get 18 books on my Kindle. That is a different kind of a shopper. And that is also someone that you want to, appeal to with your ebook book bundles or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But for something like this, there's very much a market for it. And the price of it isn't, there's more flexibility with it, I think, than people think.
Yeah. And so you'll notice in my campaign, if you pull it up again, so my books are not in Kindle Unlimited. I can do whatever I want with the ebooks. Some people who want to be in Kindle Unlimited just don't offer any ebooks along with their campaign. But because this was for a complete series, the cheapest ebook I had was $24. And so I wanted to do something for some people, just want to toss $5 at a project. So I made a tier where I'm just going to send people that sticker that I'd tap that because She Inherits a Maple Farm. And
okay, sorry.
Yeah, and that'll ship anywhere in the world. You could see 3 people backed at that tier. Like, those are 3 people who just wanted me to have $5. Mm-hmm. And I can get an international forever stamp for $1 or something like that, $1.24. And so I just created that tier to give some people an entry point. And then you can see 23 people backed the digital tier. Well, my cost for that is $0, right? So that's pure money.
Profit. Yeah.
Yep. A digital tier. And then if you scroll down, like, more people want, so that's the paperback tier. 30 people wanted that. And then I think I ended up with like 42. That's like, and then I had some different combinations of ebooks I have a pretty deep catalog too.
You really do have a good catalog.
I'm working on book 38, but so almost 40 people. Yeah. Almost 40 people wanted the hardback. And so those I'm ordering in quantities of 6 from the printer.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And then the paperback artisan box.
Yep. 2 people wanted that and 5 people wanted it with the hardback. So I'll just put together 7 of those. And you can see I also always try to offer something that's like a lot more expensive. So if you scroll down, the bottom thing was a garden party. So nobody took it, but that's okay. I don't need to zoom into anybody's book club. But I like to have something really expensive on there so that the next lowest thing doesn't look as
as expensive, right? And also just like buying psychology,
yeah.
people tend to buy the middle priced item. They think they don't want the cheap one. They don't want the one that's most expensive. They buy something in the middle. So that is very smart when it comes to buying psychology, to add in an extra item. It's not anything dramatically different than what you've done, but you've just added yourself. But it's great because this is not something that you have to front the money for. You're already you, and you're available when you're available. So that's fantastic. Love. And of course, for $250, you go, yes, I will show up for your garden party. I love the hat. I love all the puns. I just love the whole thing, honestly.
Well, and in that photo, that's me and my yellow moo in my neighbor's garden. And my kids were like, "You're going to leave the house in your moo?" I was like, yeah, I am. I'll be back later.
Yes. I love that. That is absolutely fantastic. I think the yellow moo is perfect because it brings out the gold in the gold foil on the cover.
Yeah.
I really, really, really love this. Now, one question I had for you, a lot of authors, once they do their Kickstarter campaigns, some of them will delay the availability of the book on either on their own stores or on Amazon or the other retailers in order to keep some exclusivity to Kickstarter for a while, some scarcity. Is that something that you do, or how soon do you release your books into the wild after doing a Kickstarter?
Yeah, these books are already out individually.
Right.
So, I also I don't usually put full series box sets on Amazon because they limit the royalty percentage.
Right.
So I will probably put the omnibus ebook on the wide retailers when I get around to it. And then I have promised my backers that these special edition print ones will never be on retail.
Gotcha.
I could put this paperback. Oh, I said I would show the paperback. I could put this on retail, but I would have to list it at like $60 on Ingram to even get $3 or $4
of a royalty. So it might not even be worth it other than to just put it on your own store.
Right. Whereas if I sell it on my own store, it's a little bit different. But I think it came out so cute.
It's adorable.
Yeah, and
it's adorable.
And this one has what's called a duplex cover. Ingram can do that. They can print something really fancy inside your paperback cover. And that is only a couple extra cents per book. And I don't even think my backers know this, but I was putzing around and I put in a map since it was printing in color anyway. So, you can just do really fun stuff. And this I'll be able to sell in my direct store. I think people will get this at in-person events. So I will probably keep a stash of these around.
It's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. I think if you sell them at in-person events, you need to have one of those hardcovers like standing up so that people can sort of see. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. All right. Love that. I love it. I love it. All right. Lisa McLeod says, I spent the last sprint entering the Austin Film Festival script contest. Nice. And I paid when I had to put down my credit cards, still struggling to invest in my creativity. Girl, you went back to college to learn how to do this.
Wow.
Spend the money, and you have the money. So spend the money. You're just proving your own point about how squirrely we are. I do the same thing, but I can just tell you, go spend the money right now. I want to hear the cha-ching before we end the sprint today. All right. Speaking of sprints, let's go ahead and do our next one. Let me get rid of this. All right. Thank you so much too. I mean, obviously we have a little time left, but I just want to say thank you for coming over here and giving us all the scoop on your Kickstarter because it's so beautiful. I think this is my favorite of all the ones you've done. It's just really incredible. Okay, everybody, let's get going. We're going to do our last sprint of the day. Here we go. Starting in 3, All right. Fantastic. How did everybody do on the sprint? Let us know. Oh my gosh, you guys, it cha-chinged. Very nice. Yay. Good job, Lisa.
Spend some money.
Good job. Hi, Debbie. Very nice to see you. Very, very, very glad that you are here. Good job. So we are about to go, but I just realized we have not done the news yet, and there is some
Oh,
big news that happened today. So I'm going to get through that really, really quickly before we go. So hold on, everybody. I love that so much. So here is the news today. I think the biggest thing that we want to talk about today is that Barnes and Noble made an announcement this week that they will be stocking AI written books if they are labeled. Barnes and Noble CEO James Daunt said that the retailer is willing to stock AI written books if they're clearly labeled and not deceptive or plagiarized. Now, that quote about not being plagiarized is funny to me because aren't all AI written books kind of plagiarized because they are, yeah, anyway, because the large language model, fed off all of our published and indie published books in order to create those LLMs. So anyway, that is big news. I thought that was really huge. New adult, I think we talked about this before, but all of the major publishers are formalizing their new adult categories. It's only been 15 or 20 years. St. Martin's Press, 20 years, I guess. St. Martin's Press back in 2009 coined the term, and they have certainly were the ones to do it. But now I guess it is officially a thing across all of the major publishers, which the only reason for them to do that means they're making some money. So that is something to mention too. And then the one last piece that I wanted to talk about is that we have seen a lot of indie bookstores opening in 2025, and there's nothing that makes me happier than seeing that news because I'm sure all of you guys remember when Barnes and Nobles were kind of hitting the scene. A lot of indie bookstores went under. A lot of them struggled a lot during the pandemic. And so to see that 2025 is the year of the resurgence of the indie bookstores and that's continued into 2026 is absolutely awesome. So that's the news, everybody. And the Barnes and Noble stuff is weird. I don't know. What do you think about that, Lainey?
I think that it's going to get harder and harder to define what it means by AI use.
Yeah.
I just think it's really hard to discern, especially because it is incorporated into so many of the tools that all of us
Right. Spell check and
are using.
right. Formatting, all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. Yeah. You are right. It does get more challenging. Well, and then you think about it in Hollywood, if you write a screenplay and the producer decides that it needs a rewrite, they give it to another writer, their name goes on it if they rewrite like 10%. And I imagine at some point we'll end up with some formula where you can plot your book, but if you write it, or if you've generated on your own 25% of this, that counts as human written, or 100% counts as human written. I do think it's something that we're going to see a lot more about. And I don't know if you guys have seen that clip circulating on the internet, and I don't have much context for it, but basically it was a graduation speaker, lots of kids graduating this month. It was a graduation speaker for a college graduation. And she said something about like AI is your future, and people booed,
They heard
right, loudly. And she seemed very surprised by that. But the youngins are not fans of AI, and I can certainly, yeah.
But I do also think it will reach a point where, like, I mean, I've done ghostwriting a lot, and the people I've ghostwritten for have not revealed or proclaimed that. And so sometimes I wonder, like, what is the point and purpose of labeling
Yeah.
in that way. Like I wonder at what point will it become like we don't label when we've used MS Word. My dad used to work as a typesetter for a newspaper, and obviously he lost his job with the advent of word processing. So it's hard. I don't know.
Yeah. I know it's a complicated issue. It's a very complex issue. All right, you guys, let's see. I'm going to leave this up because I think it is the fantastic comment to end with. We are all done for the day. Thank you guys so much for being here. Before we go, Lainey, tell us a little about you. And thank you so much for being our guest today.
Yeah, I am mostly on Threads and Instagram these days at author Lainey Davis. I have a lot of my audiobooks on YouTube. And I'm always happy to talk about Kickstarter. So please do reach out.
That's so nice. That's so nice. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for being here today. Especially thank you to you, Lainey. I'm super glad that you are here today. And we will see you guys next week. Everybody have a great time. You got to say the thing Robert always says. Keep those
keyboards clacking.
That's right. Somebody's got to say it. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.